tune in to At Home with Christ Ministry with Julie Thomas, broadcasting Monday nights at 8 p.m. live on licmc.net, radio, Facebook, and YouTube.
Hello, and welcome again to another edition of the At Home with Christ podcast. On this side of the podcast, we are talking about a man named Dave who's sitting in his living room when he hears a voice saying to him, coming from the TV, asking him to join or become a watchman. Now, this is not the type of watchman you think it is, like a superhero or a villain or someone that wants you to join the army. This is something totally different, coming from someone totally a person, someone totally different. This man begins to look around his living room in shock, wondering who is talking to him and what do they mean. When he replies, "Who is this? What do you want? What is a watchman?" This is the type of question that you and I would even begin to ask. But you know, God told Ezekiel that he wanted him to be a watchman. Yes, he did. God told Ezekiel that prophets are like watchmen. So if God tells Ezekiel that prophets are like watchmen, then maybe someone like you or I, or the man in the story, can also be a watchman. You get it? That is, a watchman is someone that is not in the army or a gang leader or even a community leader. This is a person who stands on lookout over people in a spiritual world, watching for danger. Now, this time, Dave is sitting there beginning to question the self, the voice, and question the voice, and asks himself, "Why do you want me to be a watchman?" But what he did not know was that voice was God speaking to him. Watchmen like Ezekiel warn people of spiritual dangers. You understand what I'm saying? Watchmen like Ezekiel warn people of spiritual dangers. Now, what if you or I had our own spiritual watchman? Then we would know when danger is coming into our life, or when we are going to be around some sort of danger. Or it could be danger in your neighborhood. Now, we're not talking about a neighborhood community watch. We're talking about a spiritual watchman. Now, wouldn't it be good if we all had a spiritual watchman? Yes, it would be. So, so what I'm saying to you is, you and I could be a spiritual watchman also. Now, the boy said again to Dave, "I want you to be a watchman and watch over your family." Dave laughs and says, "Yeah, right." Like you or I might say, "Yeah, right." You get it? Like we all would say, "Yeah, right," and do the same thing he did. And that is question God's choice and God's wisdom. And that is not a joke. If God calls you to be a watchman spiritually, you better pay attention, because we need more watchmen these days than we need anything else. Now, pay attention to this. In Ezekiel 3:17, the term watchman is refers to someone who is chosen for a special job, like Ezekiel. But don't let yourself be fooled like Dave and think that, you can't be a watchman, because you can be a watchman. You can. We all might have those qualities. And if you pay attention and read Ezekiel 3:17, where God tells Ezekiel, Son of man, I want you to be a watchman, then you would know what the qualities and the roles have. So when you see this commercial or you hear that voice on TV, do you have watchman skills? Would you like to be a watchman? You might think to yourself, I could become a spiritual watchman. I could learn how to discern when danger is coming and warn the people that I really love. And you won't become someone like Dave who's just sitting in his house thinking, what is a watchman? You will already know. Watchmen, that is spiritual watchmen, they have a discerning spirit. They can watch over things like buildings and windows and other qualities, but they stand in towers watching, like we said, for danger. And so now we're asking you, would you like to become a watchman? And if you do, when you hear that voice, you answer the voice. And you yourself let God know that you want to become a watchman. You want to help your people. You want to become a spiritual watchman. Now, Dave, as I said in the story, let's get back to it, who was sitting down, pondering to himself, thinking this must be some joke, because he said he didn't want to sign up to be in an army. He didn't want to sign up to be a neighborhood person. But what he did not know, that if he didn't become a watchman, how could he watch over his family? How could he watch over his wife and children? How can he warn them that something bad is going to happen? And in our next episode, we're going to see if something bad happens. And thank you very much.
Be sure to tune in to At Home with Christ Ministry with Julie Thomas, broadcasting Monday nights at 8 p.m. live on licmc.net, radio, Facebook, and YouTube.